Welcome to my channel. Today I'll showcase Hoyas from my collection that stand out with their dense, succulent-like leaves. These Hoya varieties share similarities with succulent plants, yet they are unmistakably Hoyas. Let's start with the Hoya Obovata Splash. This variety has been a long-time resident in my collection. It has grown into a sizable plant with beautiful, dense foliage. The leaves feature silverish spots, and I cultivate it under natural light since it doesn't fit under lamps and can't fully thrive. While it could use a bit more light, the silver hue of the leaves is maintained, which is pleasing. This variety is stable and reliable. The only drawback is that in very low light conditions, such as during winter, the leaves may deform and curl. However, once the lighting returns to normal, they regain their beautiful round shape. As I mentioned, this variety is stable. Almost all its leaves have a silver tint. The only exception is this one leaf I found here. If offered a Hoya labeled as Hoya Obovata Splash without the silver tint, it's just a regular Hoya Obovata, a different plant variety. The chances of obtaining such leaves are very low, so be attentive when purchasing to avoid disappointment. Lately, sellers often offer Hoyas under one name, but they are actually a completely different variety. People buy and then resell, spreading Hoyas of the wrong type. Next in my collection is another beautiful Hoya with thick leaves, the Hoya Obovata Variegated. I've had it for a long time, and it has grown well. It thrives in natural light and hasn't flowered yet, but there are already flower stalks. I hope to witness its blooming in spring. During winter, it doesn't receive sufficient light, and the leaves may grow deformed. But it's not a disease, and there's no need to treat it. As soon as the light conditions improve, they will return to their normal appearance. No need to worry, everything will balance out with the longer daylight. Certainly, you can change the situation with lamp lighting, but I don't have that option right now. So, I'm content with what I have. In any case, I hope that someday these Hoyas will delight me with their blossoms. But honestly, even without flowering, they look stunning thanks to their beautiful foliage. Now, let's move on to my next Hoya. In my collection, there's also the Obovata Marginata. It's a younger plant, more precisely, a cutting. I have several of them. I propagated from the mature plant and made duplicates for myself. This Hoya grows under a lamp, and the colorful edges of the leaves stand out prominently. The brighter the light, the more vibrant their contrast. The edges of the leaves have a neon green color, and the silver spots on the leaves have a light pinkish hue. This plant grows moderately, not too quickly and not too slowly. It consistently and reliably maintains its characteristics. The key is to monitor watering and avoid overwatering. This applies to all Hoyas with dense leaves. Very beautiful. Here are all my specimens of Hoya Obovata. It's enough for me. Let's move on to the Hoya Kerrii. First, I want to show you the common Hoya Kerrii with green leaves. Just adorable little hearts. And here are these somewhat scary leaves with holes. This isn't my doing. I bought this plant already mature. It belonged to the previous owner, who had a cat. He really liked this Hoya, and he chewed and scratched it quite aggressively. So, eventually it was sold. It grows slowly, and my contribution is this new shoot with young leaves. It's green, so it doesn't need additional lighting. It will thrive well on the windowsill. Perhaps it will even bloom. I hope that happens because flowering, combined with green leaves, will add charm to it. Look at this beauty. However, this isn't the only Hoya Kerrii in my collection. Here it is, a beauty. One of my favorite Hoyas. This is Kerrii Marginata. It has become a true little bush. Initially, it had longer internodes, but I decided to root cuttings and create several new plants. I exchanged, gave away, and even sold it. In the end, I significantly reduced its size. I won't trim it anymore. Young leaves have a very bright yellow salmon variegation. The vibrant foliage compensates for the lack of flowers. In the case of such leaves, flowering becomes an additional bonus. And this is my beauty, Hoya Kerrii Silver Splash, or rather, one of the rooted cuttings from the mature plant. A beautiful and bright variety. Careful with watering, as overwatering can cause black spots or stains on the leaves. Drying out is also highly undesirable for Hoyas because the roots die off, and you'll have to regrow them from scratch. Another Hoya Kerrii I have, but I won't show it now because there's nothing to showcase. Hoya Kerrii Variegated. It sat motionless for a year. Now I took the risk and cut its top, although the internodes were very short. It seems to have started growing. I'll show the result later. Now I'll show you another variety of Hoya with interesting leaves. This is Hoya Compacta. It also has dense, charming garland-like leaves. It slowly starts growing, but then picks up pace. It grew for about 2 years. This upper segment grew in just half a year. I heard the same story from an acquaintance about her experience with growing Hoya Compacta. She had it for about 2 years, and then it suddenly shot up. I saw that plant. It's amazing. Especially during flowering, it's beautiful. But again, you need to be careful with watering. In the fall, I acquired Hoya Compacta Regalis. I bought 2 cuttings. Both of them took their time. They were under the lamp, but didn't want to grow. And only when spring came, new leaves appeared. See this pink and yellow. It makes me happy. I hope they will eventually grow, at least to the size of this Hoya Compacta. It's beautiful. I recently acquired another Hoya Compacta. Plants are distracting. You engage with them, look at new leaves, and forget about everything else. After all, there's a war going on, but okay. This is Hoya Compacta Variegated. I don't know how it will grow. We'll see. I hope we'll have a good interaction. I can plant them together for a beautiful composition. Or I'll leave them in one pot hanging like other plants. That's it. As for Hoyas, I've talked about various varieties and their characteristics. Alright, now let's move on to care, to watering. These Hoyas must be allowed to dry out at least halfway. Roots need to breathe and not be in a swamp. I used transparent cups to see the condition of the soil. It's especially important for small Hoya cuttings. Yes, over time, green algae develop because the cups are transparent. There's nothing wrong with that. It's normal for Hoyas. However, you can see the color of the roots, the condition of the soil, and the degree of drying out. You can also rely on the color of the soil. When the soil dries out, it becomes lighter. Here, for example, it's clearly visible. Look in the center. Here the peat is wet because I intentionally watered it at the roots, but around it's dry and it's lighter. You can also gauge not only by the color of the soil, but also by the weight of the flower pot. When you water the Hoya, remember the pot's weight. When it dries out, it becomes lighter. How much to water? If you're constantly at home, it's better to water more often but with smaller amounts. If you're often away, it's better to water less frequently but with a more abundant watering. Last year, when I was often away, I did abundant watering, and the plants grew calmly for a week without me. Now, being at home, I water more often but with smaller volumes. After 3 days, I check again. Don't transplant Hoyas into large pots because they have a not very large root system. They are semi-epiphytes. Roots are not only in the soil. If the indoor humidity is good, aerial roots work just as well as those in the soil. In normal humidity, Hoya absorbs moisture from the air. So if it's not too dry, excess watering is not needed. If the air in the apartment is dry, water a bit more, but let the soil dry out. In a swamp, they will suffocate. Now a few words about repotting. If the leaves have lost their firmness, turgor, become dull, thin, as if wrinkled, and the color has changed a bit. In general, if the leaves look bad, the problem is with the roots. Hoya has delicate roots. They are prone to quick rot if something goes wrong. If you notice, repot urgently. Be sure to propagate with cuttings. Don't try to save the entire Hoya. It's better to cut a cutting. The upper cuttings are the strongest, before it disappears completely. Sometimes Hoya disappears literally in a few days, and it's good if there's already a duplicate. At the time of disappearance. My friend had this happen with Hoya Compacta. It just disappeared. Just one day, all the leaves started falling off and the branches started drying out, although there were no visible reasons. It's not immediately noticeable that something is wrong. If she had come closer, she might have seen that the tips became less lively and she would have cut them to root. So if something is wrong, immediately think about the roots. Cut a cutting, put the rest in a greenhouse. Be sure to cut the cutting. This guarantees that you will preserve the variety. I even saved immature cuttings with just leaves. For example, one leaf started growing, the other already looked normal. I cut it, rooted it, and the leaves kept growing. If you see roots in the cup, and they don't look like this, healthy roots look like this. Healthy roots look like this. They can also be white. Or brown, yes. If the roots are brown, transparent, it means they are rotting. In this case, you can take the plant out of the pot, cut it to live tissue, and root it. But this does not negate the need to cut the top cutting if possible. Maybe I went too far with the story. I'm sorry if so. Thank you for watching, commenting, and liking. I'm glad that my videos about Hoya are interesting. I'm happy that someone likes how I shoot and talk about plants. Plants are very distracting, especially when you're sad. New leaves and flowers improve mood. Thank you all for watching. I wish everyone peace, happiness, and health. Let the war end quickly. Goodbye.